That's pretty good. Who amongst us truly know where their water comes from? In Bali, water flows in rivers, beaches, lakes, subaks, smelly gutters, and sometimes magically from our taps and plastic bottles. We all have the privilege of drinking water, the privilege of life. However, not everyone has this privilege of magic on their fingertips. When we want water, we just twist the tap. The water we drink, the water we swim in, the water we flush, the water we use to wash ourselves. Where does my water come from? Where does your water come from? One morning in the summer of 2016, in my house in Kintamani, up in north of Bali, amongst the cool air, rolling hills, deep rivers, and luscious green trees. My dad turned on the tap, and there was a slow trickle of dirty water that we couldn't drink or use. My parents were fortunate enough to be able to find an alternative spring and pump that water to our house. Wow, we have water again. But this opened my eyes. What if we didn't have enough money to get another source of water, pump that to our house? How many other people are experiencing this? Globally, 46% of people don't have access to clean drinking water and proper sanitation. In Indonesia, 20% of people don't have access to clean water and proper sanitation. In Indonesia, 20,000 children below the age of 5 years old die due to waterborne diseases every single year because of this. This is a water crisis. The water crisis is a lack of freshwater resources to meet the standard water demand. The water crisis is a health crisis. The water crisis is now. So I came to the first fork in my road. I could have ignored it, taken a familiar path, and not cared about where my water came from, like before. But my privilege is not the reason to be ignorant or complacent. My privilege is the reason to act, to explore what lay beyond the beaten track and investigate the complicated matter of the water crisis. What can I even do about it? Could I do enough to make a difference? Bali, a tropical jewel in Indonesia's vast archipelago. With its abundant rainfall and volcanic terrain, you'd think that groundwater would be a reliable source. Bali relies heavily on three primary water sources: rivers, lakes, and groundwater. But these once reliable sources are now teetering in the brink of depletion. Dry lakes, polluted rivers, and an exhausted groundwater supply. It's a grim reality we can't afford to ignore, and evidence is present. The lakes. In 2021, Danau Buyan and Danau Tamblingan, twin lakes in North Bali's Buleleng Regency, faced a serious water crisis. Over 8 months, their shorelines were receded by up to 200 meters, as reported by Nusa Bali. The rivers. According to the Environment and Forestry Ministry, KLHK, a staggering 59% of rivers in Indonesia remain severely polluted. Industrial waste, including oil, gas, mining byproducts, along with domestic and livestock waste, are primary contributors to this pollution. Perhaps the most alarming issue is the depletion of our groundwater. Groundwater is a water present beneath the ground, in rock and soil-poor spaces. About 30% of all readily available freshwater in the world is groundwater. Based on a report by Bali-based NGO, IDEP Foundation, Wali Water Protection, the water table has dropped over 50 meters in some areas in less than 10 years. Additionally, areas circled in blue indicate saltwater intrusion, where seawater has infiltrated our fresh groundwater, posing significant challenges to groundwater availability and quality. Yes, that is our fresh groundwater being replaced with the same water that you surf in. Do we really want to be drinking salt water in the future? My choices, your choices, our choices. We are all a part of the problem. In this paradise, factories churn, hotels sprawl, and overdevelopment runs rampant. Water exploitation is a norm, and guess whose problem it is? It's also ours. Though it might not be obvious, we see it every day. The once green turning gray and the once wet turning dry. What do we need and what do we not need? Abundance is important in nature. It shows us a flourishing biodiversity, and it shows us that nature's needs are being met. But what does abundance show us about development? Do we need another beach club, another coffee shop, another swimming pool, another villa, or even another mall? Shouldn't our ability to sustain our water be more important than the capacity to build, and build? Let's do a quick demonstration to help us understand. With more cement and road surfaces, there are less natural soil surfaces. Now, when it rains, instead of that clean water going back to replenish our fresh groundwater, it flows on the cement, roads, it flows into dirty rivers, it causes floods, and it rushes out to sea. This is now a big, big problem, because groundwater is what we've been relying on and will be relying on for centuries. So what am I going to do about it? I could A, ignore it, continue my life as usual. B, continue my lifelong dream of becoming an NBA player. C, create an initiative aimed at helping solve the water crisis. Or D, play PUBG Mobile until 2:30 in the morning every single day. As much as I wanted to pick the last one, I knew I needed to do something with a purpose, not just for me, but for Bali. It all kicked off with my grade 8 capstone project. It's leaking. Recharging Bali. It shed light on Bali's groundwater issues and highlighted a solution. Recharge wells. Recharge wells are the opposite of normal wells. Instead of taking water from the ground, it collects rainwater and helps it move downward, from surface water to clean groundwater, using filtration systems to help replenish the aquifers with water to communities in need, like our home island, Bali. However, the high costs involved with the construction and the materials of the recharge wells made me ask myself, could I even make one with the resources that I had? At the time, the answer was no. So instead of hiring a team to dig and build a well for me, I only had one guy digging, and I would be his assistant, occasionally digging, but mainly moving the soil with a wheelbarrow. So after a week of hard work and some elbow grease, we managed to build our first recharge well at my hometown of Kintamani. However, after that project, I lost some motivation. I kept thinking that the problem was too big to solve and I was not making a difference, which was sort of true. So even without proper funding, we had to explore more cost-effective ways to continue the project. 2022 was the start of Liquify. Liquify is an initiative directed towards providing innovative water solutions, educating children about the global water crisis, upcycling waste fabric into merchandise, and of course, raising awareness about the global water crisis through news, social media, and presentations. My company, Liquify, became a mix of initiatives. Yes, it was kind of complicated, but it was a mix of initiatives aimed at helping Bali's communities gain access to clean drinking water, exploring other options that, of course, were less expensive. But honestly, managing everything on my own was tough. I had to prioritize and adapt constantly. I think I grew some gray hairs in the process. Then again, taking down a crisis is meant to be tough, right? Whilst I was trying all these solutions, the problem creating the crisis just seemed to keep growing. I felt like I was constantly mopping the leaking tap. The tap just somehow needs to be fixed. After doing the project for quite a while and having firsthand experience of the water crisis, I kept focused on the solutions we were developing, applying for grants, and seeing where Liquify could make an impact. So after 3 years of hard work, I'm proud to say that we've directly impacted around 700 people and raised over $7,000. This was done with the help of Best Water Technologies, Aquapearl Foundation, Green School Foundation, and of course, some merchandise sales. And this is what I've done. I made an educational children's book called about water conservation called Harapan Tetes Hujan, or The Hopes of Raindrops, with the help of my friend Komang to help illustrate the book. We provided 5 schools with 50 books and educated over 200 students about the global water crisis through these books. I installed 6 biopores, which are smaller recharge wells, together with students, parents, and visitors, and a full recharge well in Kintamani. This has reduced water runoff, boosting soil fertility, and minimized water runoff. We also ran the Kintamani Village Project, which has successfully connected over 170 residents to clean drinking water in Suba, Tirta, Buana. Many of them had to carry water on their heads and motorbike for everyday basic needs. Now with this project, they only need to turn on the tap to get access to clean water. I was chosen as a global teen leader in 2022, and the project was featured on BBC and CNN. Honestly, these all could have been their own Greenstones, but by now, you probably realize that the easy route is not the path I take. The role of mentoring, support, funding, and outreach has allowed Liquify to grow and its impact to further reach. In 2023, I applied to the Iris Prize, which is an international sustainability competition where hundreds of youth aged 16 to 24 apply to win a grant for their project. I was elated to have won first place for the Iris Prize. I won a grant of $15,000. After winning the Iris Prize, I was overwhelmed with gratitude and excitement. Gratitude and excitement. It was validation that the work that I'm doing with Liquify was creating an impact and being recognized. However, it also meant that the responsibility to maximize the impact of our project had increased manyfold. Reflecting on past experiences, I realized that spreading myself too thin across various aspects of the project was not the most reliable approach. Therefore, I made the strategic decision to focus our efforts on initiatives that I could scale up and that would have the greatest impact. Recharge wells, education for children, and a monitoring system backed with an interactive dashboard. Well, yeah, maybe not so simple. After realizing I bit a little more than I could chew, I knew I needed to partner up with some experts. IDEP Foundation and Polytechnic Negeri Bali, an NGO and a university that has had more than a decade's worth of research and experience. Now here's the plan. Recharge wells are at the core of the mission. The mission to replenish Bali's groundwater. By strategically placing these wells together with IDEP Foundation and Polytechnic Negeri Bali, we aim to raise awareness about groundwater depletion, restore balance to the water table, and ensure sustainable access to clean drinking water for Bali's future. To enhance the effectiveness and transparency of our impact, I plan to develop a monitoring system with the help of Elma Technologies and some mentors. The system will enable us to collect real-time data on the wells, water levels, water recharge, and other relevant metrics. This allowing us to track our initiatives accurately. I'll be completely honest, it's not there yet, but we're working on it. Furthermore, I'm working together with Maker Change to create an interactive dashboard that visualizes this data in a user-friendly manner. We aim to share this to our stakeholders and the public. Here's an example we did at Yahabangkao. This is one of our education programs we did this year. Another example is the Kintamani Village project we did last year, providing water to 170 residents. And of course, last but not least, all of the recharge wells in red that either IDEP has built, Polytechnic Negeri has built, or Liquify has built. After winning the Iris Prize, I was able to significantly expand our education program. We increased the number of kids reached through our program from just 200 to over 1,000 in just a few months. And by we, I mean with the Bali Youth Parliament for Water and Green School Foundation. With their help, this made the job a lot easier. We could conduct multiple workshops, recruit more volunteers, and add fun games, and even tailor the difficulty for the older kids. So what do we have planned for the future? Since this February, we've built our first recharge well along with the sensor next to the Arc at Green School. Before the end of 2024, we plan to build 2 more recharge wells at Green School and 10 more recharge wells around Bali. Yes, I know, it looks really sexy at night. Look at it, straight out of Disney. We also plan to double the amount of children reached through our education program from 1,000 to 2,000 students. The water crisis is not solved. And 14-year-old me was told to make smaller goals than simply solving the water crisis. Actually, 17-year-old me was also told to make smaller goals. One thing that I've learned is that small goals make a difference. Another thing that I've learned is that it takes more than one person. It takes way more than one person. It takes all of us to be aware of our personal water use. Whether that be when you're brushing your teeth, taking that long shower, or building your next villa. Liquify also needs more than one person. Next year, I'll be studying at Halt in London with a full tuition scholarship. I used Liquify as one of the main showcase projects to apply for the scholarship. After I graduate from Green School, I'll be studying at London and we'll be creating a team to continue the work of Liquify. So Green School community, there are some job openings. We're looking to add a finance and project lead, a mobility and program coordinator, and a marketing and communications coordinator. So maybe you are ready to join the team or know someone that is. A lot of people ask me, what is the end goal of my project? And I always have a hard time answering this because it's such a big problem. However, if you were to ask me that question today, I think my answer would be, enough will never be enough. Water is a human right. Water is a part of us. Water is everything. Our existence depends on it, and our existence is threatening it. Who do we want to be? Today, I gave you some solutions, some actions, ways to be involved. The water crisis is now. The time to act is now. So join the ripple, spread the word, sponsor a school program, or even sponsor a well. Because if not us, then who? Siapa lagi kalau bukan kita? Thank you. I'd like to thank all of my mentors, Ibu Kate, Pak Gove, Sumarni, Yazid from the Iris Prize, Ibu Putri, Pak Kadet, for all making this possible. I thank you. Organizations that have supported me, BWP, Bali Water Protection, Best Water Technologies, Aquapol Foundation, Green School Foundation, Bali Youth Parliament for Water, thank you. All the teachers that have supported me, on behalf of all of my peers, class of 2024, thank you. Pak George, Pak Greg, Pak Benjamin, Ibu Leslie, Pak Huck Francis, Ibu Puri, Ibu Penny, all of you, thank you. Last but not least, my friends and family. Mom, dad, brother, sister, nieces, nephews. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you. Now, before I finally graduate and leave the stage with all of my peers, I would like you to please scan this QR code. No, actually, I'm not joking. It's not disrespectful. I'm at the end of my presentation. Pull out your phones, scan this QR code to check our impact. And by our, I mean us. Because you can join the Ripple as well. Become a volunteer at one of our school programs, fund a school program for $200, or sponsor a recharge well along with a monitoring system for $1,200. So join us and help protect our island's future. Thank you.